Alphonso Davies is hurt again for Canada. No, that is not a typo. The Canadian superstar suffered yet another muscle injury playing for Bayern Munich this week. And now his World Cup status is in doubt. So today, we're going to talk about Davies' recent injury history and why Canada's best ever soccer player is now at a crossroads in his career. Then we're going to talk about what this injury means for Canada's setup. How does this impact our team heading into the home World Cup? The truth is, this sucks. My name's Aaron Nerona. This is The Morning Whistle. So we're at a point with Alphonso Davies where you have to question, is the Roadrunner, the guy who made the left side of the field his personal highway, gone? The last 15 months have been an absolute disaster for Canada's one truly elite player. Everything goes back to the ACL injury he suffered in March 2025, playing for Canada in the Nations League third place match against the United States. After 9 months off, he returned to action with Bayern Munich in mid-December. But after a very slow ramp back to fitness, he tore a muscle fiber in his hamstring in the same leg in late February. 2 weeks later, he returned to action, but suffered a strain in the hamstring in his very first match back. That caused him to miss Canada's March international window. And then he returned to Bayern Munich's lineup in April, playing big games against Real Madrid in the Champions League and then PSG. And he also helped Bayern confirm another Bundesliga title. And here's the problem. I am pretty sure that he suffered his injury in the first of two matches against PSG. A week and a half ago, Bayern and PSG played one of the best ever Champions League matches, a 5-4 barn burner. But Davies was pulled at halftime. And after the match, Bayern manager Vincent Kompany shared that Davies had felt something. We didn't know what he meant by that, but it was enough to keep Davies out of the lineup for their weekend Bundesliga match, and it prevented Davies from starting the return leg against PSG, a must-win match at home. But then, when PSG went up and Bayern needed 2 goals to get back in the game, Davies came into the game with 30 minutes left. And guess what? He set up Bayern's only goal. But very clearly after the game, something was wrong, because he is now on the shelf for the next few weeks. Now, I watched both these games. I know when Davies hurt himself. He hurt himself in the first game. He was making a run with the ball behind the defender, and he pulled up. He was walking okay, a little gingerly, but that's where he hurt himself. And I'm just going to say it. Something is off with him right now. Bayern has actually tried to ease him back to fitness. They've avoided putting him in the starting lineup too quickly. They've been giving him 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, then 45 minutes. And yet he is still having challenges being able to run. And that is a big concern. Of course for Canada, but for Davies, that's brutal. If I'm being open, the best thing for Alphonso Davies would be 3 to 4 months on the shelf. No matches, no ramp up, no managed minutes, just rest, rehab, and just give his body a real chance to heal. But of course, we know that will not happen, because it is not just a World Cup summer. For Davies, it is a home World Cup. And that is truly once in a lifetime. So, what does that mean for Canada? So, both Bayern and Canada have said that Davies will be out 4 to 5 weeks. Canada begins its World Cup against Bosnia in exactly 5 weeks. Now, there is zero chance that he starts on June 12th against Bosnia. Zero chance. Even if he felt 100%, you cannot take the risk of putting him in the starting lineup and risk that 20 minutes into the game, he will pull a muscle. And that's where we're at with Davies right now. So if I'm Canada's head coach, Jesse March, I'm starting to plan as though Davies will not start in the group stage. Won't start any of the games. Bosnia, Qatar, Switzerland. And to be even safer, I would treat him as a bonus. Assume he can't start the entire tournament and could maybe be used as a bench player when necessary. Now, Canada has played without Davies for multiple stretches over the last 5 years. They haven't had him for the last 15 games in 12 months. And of course, there was also the run-in to the 2022 World Cup. How does this impact Canada's team? Well, of course, he's our best player. He's our one true superstar. And he impacts our lineup in 3 different ways. 1, offensively, we lose the ability to get his low crosses into the box. The best moves Alphonso Davies makes are on the left-hand side. He will drift past his winger, get behind the opposing defender, the winger plays a ball into him, Davies will always win that battle, and he gets the opportunity to hit a clean cross into our strikers. He does this better than almost anybody. Now, the second thing that Davies offers is speed. Speed in our defense. That speed allows Canada's center backs the flexibility to push up, pinch, be aggressive on loose balls. Because if balls get behind them, Alphonso can mop up. Of course, we're going to lose that. And third, he attracts attention. Whether he's playing in a deep role or pushing high up the pitch, opponents have to watch him and respect his speed. And that can free up room for a player like Jonathan David, who thrives on finding open space. No Davies means no extra coverage. So, how does Canada work through this? Well, this is where it gets fun. Richie Laryea becomes incredibly important. He's been Davies' stand-in at the left back position over the past year, and at times, he has been Canada's best performer. The TFC defender is maybe the shiftiest player on our roster. He's quick, agile, and does an amazing job of drawing fouls. And critically, he knows how to play within himself. So he's a natural replacement at the left back spot. And if he does end up going in that position, Canada should be comfortable that he can maybe contribute 50% of what Davies does offensively and does have that ability to be defensive-minded too. But here's the problem. Laryea is also injured right now. He's missed Toronto FC's last 3 games because of a thigh injury. And while the club has said that Richie will be ready for the World Cup, it is unclear if he will play in any of Toronto FC's final 3 games before the World Cup break. And as we know about these muscle injuries, players could be rushing themselves back to play. And therein lies the concern. If both of Canada's top left backs are out of action, there's very little depth in that position. Zorhang Basong of Sporting Kansas has 7 caps to his name, largely playing for Canada at the Gold Cup last year. And then there's 21-year-old Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, who earned his first cap for Canada in March. Those would be our options. Neither of them are tremendously experienced at either a club or national team level. And in reality, neither of those guys would be starting in a World Cup. If both Davies and Laryea can't go, we would have to play someone out of position. And that's it. For Canada, the best case scenario is we just lost our most dynamic player for the beginning of the tournament, and he might be reduced to a middling role coming off the bench. Worst case, our left flank might have just gone from being our biggest strength to our biggest weakness. For the sake of Alphonso, who has the opportunity of a lifetime, I really hope he gets the opportunity to play in at least one World Cup match. He deserves it. But as things sometimes happen in life, heartbreak is reality. This is The Morning Whistle. I'm Aaron Arona.